When you have a small space, the focus should be on how to utilize your vertical space to free up the horizontal space. We can use rugs to serve as room dividers without actually creating that wall to divide the room. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be dissecting 7 tips on how to style up a small space. Be it a living room, bedroom, whatever small space it is entirely. If you apply these 7 tips, I'm sure your space will feel elevated. Meanwhile, please you guys should pardon me. I am such a mess. I'm going through hay fever, so I could not afford to have any type of makeup on my face today. Oh my god. Anyway, that's not the focus of this video. Focus on the tips we're sharing. So when you are styling up a small space, the focus is usually on a few things, which I'm going to be listing here. Number 1, to make the space cozy. Secondly, functionality is key in any space, especially in a small space. You guys will understand why when we have delved into this video. And then finally, to make that space Pinterest worthy. Anyway, let's get right into it. My first point would be think vertical. When you have a small space, the focus should be on how to utilize your vertical space to free up the horizontal space. You know, how to make any furniture you put into that space not to feel cluttered in the space, okay? So when you're low on square footage, go up. Install shelves, hanging planters, large art pieces, whatever it is you can have on the wall. Use up the vertical space, like the wall space, more than you're using up the ground space. So when you do this, it draws the eyes upwards and make the space feel high and big. My next point, of course, you guys already know this one. Be it a small space or a large space, use mirrors. Mirrors, I can't overemphasize on the importance of mirrors. I'll tell you guys 2 key things to consider when you're using mirrors. If you have enough space, use large mirrors. It's always better than using small mirrors. So the larger the mirror, the better, because it helps to open up the space even more. So again, my second tip on using mirror would be, if you have any window in that space, try to place that mirror right in front of that window, so that way it bounces back light and gives the illusion of more space. Some people would say try mirrored furniture, but because mirrored furniture are too flashy and too dated, I would just say avoid mirrored furniture. But you can try floor mirrors, or like I said, if you have vertical space, use up that vertical space to introduce large mirror. You will see how your space is going to feel bigger. My next point would be multifunctional furniture. This is where you have your sofa bed, your ottoman bed, like beds with storage. In a room where you have limited space, the best type of bed storage would be the gas lift storage, the type that lifts up. Because if you have a small space, you might struggle with having enough space to be able to pull out the drawers when you have the drawers kind of storage. And in terms of utilizing the storage space more, gas lifts have proven to be more functional than the drawer type of storage. So this is just my own recommendation anyway. When it comes to your living room, for instance, and you don't have enough space, I would always recommend a sofa bed. There are so many stylish sofa beds now that you can always convert to a bed at night if you have guests. Maybe you're hosting more people than usual and you need that extra room. You can always convert your sofa bed into a bed. Okay, all you need to do is just to pull it out, you sleep, and then in the morning you pull it back in. Wow! And the good thing about it is, even in the morning, you can also use, there's some of them that come with storage as well, such that you can always put your blanket, the duvet, everything you've used for that sofa bed into that space and then hide it away in the morning. It's multifunctional, it's always the best, and they look stylish as well. When it comes to kids room, there's also this thing called the foldable desk. you can have that, installed on the wall. And when your child wants to use it to study or do anything, they have to just pull it out. And then when they're not studying, they can bend it back, like turn it down. So that way you're using up the vertical space as a desk, and also it can serve as a display. There are so many ways you can install multiple furniture in your space. My next tip would be neutral colors. Stick to neutral palettes. This does not mean that bold colors do not work in small spaces. It all depends on what your goal is in that space. If you want to make that room feel bigger than it already is, then you have to go with neutral colors. I will tell you how you can go about the neutral colors. For instance, your wall is painted beige or white and you want that space to feel bigger. You can choose to go with beige or white curtains. So let's say you painted your wall white, you can choose to do white curtains. Now what that means is that there is no break in transmission when you're looking at the wall, so it just flows. You're looking at the wall, you're looking at the curtain, and the curtain is properly hung, so it opens up the whole space. This always works magic in a small space. Try it out and let me know. I would love to hear your comments on this. Let's say you're someone that still loves colors, but you want to make sure that your space feels opened up. I would say go with neutral palette and introduce colors in your decor pieces, like the accent pieces. That way you're not missing out on book walls. Okay, if you guys are enjoying this video, please go ahead to smash that like button and subscribe. I like to keep it very simple and straightforward with you guys when we are sharing these tips, and let me know if you guys enjoy the straightforward tips that we've been sharing so far. I personally am enjoying it, so I feel like anybody watching this video would definitely grab all the details. Let's go over to the next one. Use rugs to define the areas. Now, let's say you have an open space and you want to have a dining corner and the living room in the same space. How do you make that space feel big? How do you make sure that it doesn't feel cluttered? One way is to use rug to define the area. When someone walks into that space and you have your dining area and your living area, how do you want them to be able to define visually without you telling them that this is a dining area and this is the living area? For me, if I'm styling up such a space, I would definitely prioritize having rug in the living room, a large rug, to make sure that I have used it to anchor the living room furniture and everything in that space. And then you will now see the dining area on the other side. So without being told, you would visually differentiate between the dining room or the dining area, I don't know why I'm calling it dining room, the dining area and the living area with the use of rug. At the end of the day, you're having a functional and a stylish space at the same time. We can use rugs to serve as room dividers without actually creating that wall to divide the room. So this kind of idea is actually very perfect in a studio apartment where you have the room, the living room, and the dining area or the kitchen area. Yeah, because usually in a studio apartment you have the kitchen with the dining space, then the room area and the living room. So you use rug to anchor the room, anchor the living room, and you have the dining / the kitchen area. So that way you do not even need a divider to divide it. It still looks opened up, but you have divided each zone into its functional space. Finally, for this video, go for leggy furniture. When you want to style up a small space, you should prioritize furniture with legs. Furniture with legs lets light flow underneath, making things feel more open and less bulky. The more you have your pieces anchored vertically upwards, the better for you in a small space. So this goes to portray the first point we made, where we said use up your vertical space, free up the horizontal space. Okay, that way you're creating a very airy space and your space is going to look less cluttered. There you have it, 7 tried and tested tips on how to style up your small space without compromising function, comfort, or design. Do you have a favorite tip in what I've shared today? Let me know in the comments. I will be sharing 7 more tips on how to style up a small space in another video. You guys, there are so many tips where this came from, But for this video, I want to keep it very short and precise so that I don't end up confusing you. I would love to hear the ones you're going to be trying out in your home. And remember that this is the kind of content we'll be sharing, so you do not want to miss out on any of our content. So do not fail to turn on your notification bells. Follow me on all our social media handles. And if you have any interior design inquiry or you have a project in mind, don't hesitate to send us an inquiry. We'll be leaving our details in the description box and even on the screen here. Don't forget to smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay fabulous. Bye.